Hi Kenneth. Yes, I do a video. I was going to do a video about that thing you put on my wall, that questionnaire thing, but I thought I haven't even spoken about WrestleMania yet, and we haven't even had a chance to speak on the phone about WrestleMania because I haven't been able to get hold of you, or I've been busy with Kara at different times. So I thought I'd give my thoughts on WrestleMania, which I thought was absolutely I give it 10 out of 10 plus. Um, Getting towards the end of it, I was thinking this might be the best WrestleMania I've ever seen. That's how highly I rate it. It's a contender for the best ever. Last year's WrestleMania, I thought was the best for 10 years. But this year's WrestleMania for me was contender for best WrestleMania ever. Um, I don't quite think it quite made it, so it definitely go into my top five. It'd probably be in my top two or three. And that's saying something when there's been 32 WrestleManias. So I'd probably put it in my top three wrestling events, period, ever. Um, if I watch it again, I might rate it even higher. Um, it's very close to being the best WrestleMania I've ever seen. That's what I thought of it. At the moment, I'm thinking it's definitely in the top five. It's definitely in the top. I'd say it's in the top three, four, but strong contender for the top spot. Only time will really um, will be able to help me make my mind up on whether it's my favourite ever. 17 is my favourite ever. But this really challenged it, and 19 is my second favourite ever. But this really challenges those. So this is very close to being the best WrestleMania ever. I think it's the most spectacular WrestleMania ever. I I think it was the most unpredictable WrestleMania ever, and that is reflected in the fact that I only got one result right, which is unheard of for me. Usually, every wrestling event I watch, if there's 10 matches, I'd get 7 to 9 results right, and I would get a few where I get every match right. Um, Even if it's WrestleMania, I get the majority of the results right. But this year, if it went for the last match, I would have got no results right, and I usually get just about all of them right, or if not most of them right. So that in itself just displays how unpredictable it was. And I've been listening to a lot of wrestling podcasts that I listen to with wrestling experts who themselves said they only got one result right. They only got one result right, and that was the men's world championship. And really, that really displays again it is the most unpredictable WrestleMania ever. I think it was the most spectacular WrestleMania ever, and I think you had 3 or 4 really great matches, and I think it was one of the very best WrestleManias ever. So that's my thoughts on it overall. I'll give it a 10 out of 10 plus. I'll go through the matches. I mean, there's a lot, not just matches, there's segments. I mean, I watched the kickoff show, and the kickoff show had 3 matches on it and one segment. They had Kalisto versus Ryback. I gave that 4 out of 5, and that is my second lowest weight. No, it's not one. Forget what I just said. I give Kalisto v Ryback 4 out of 5. I thought it had very good wrestling. I thought it had some good spots, and I thought it was unique. And it was 8 minutes long, and that's the first match of the night. And it was just a good, solid match. 2 completely different styles, and I liked the way it was booked. Second match of the night was Team Bella versus Team Bad and Blonde. I gave that 5.5 out of 5, which don't make sense, but my ratings, you know, sometimes I do 5 plus, so, but this is half a point away from 5 plus. So Team Bella versus Team Van, I give them 5.5. I thought it had very good wrestling. I thought it had very good variety, very good action, very good wrestling. The atmosphere, in a very good atmosphere. The crowd was really into this one, and I thought the last 3 or 4 minutes were brilliant. Everybody was doing their finishing move on each other. One person would do a finishing move, and then somebody else would come along and do their finishing move. It's just like that, you know, within a 3 or 4 minute period, and it is a brilliant finish. And the very last move, Brie Bella got the Daniel Bryan's move, which my brain's gone numb. I can't remember what it's called. But she done it brilliantly. It's not just the fact that she got the move. She done the move. It's a transition. The transition and the move put together. It was just so slick and so smooth. She done a great job, and she got the submission, which won the match for her team. And that was her last WrestleMania. That's her last match. So it is beautiful, and it's fitting that her team won and she got the winning. You know, the submission. And then top it all off, Nikki comes out, who's injured, gets into it with her sister, and they put Brie on the shoulders, and that's her send off, that's her retirement, and it was a really great way to end what was a great match. You know, yeah, had loads of about, I don't know, must have had like 8 different female wrestlers in it, you know, different styles, so a really great variety, really good action, wrestling, and like I say, last 3 or 4 minutes, they're all doing them special moves, and the last bit was brilliant, so I give that 5 out of 5. The next match was the Dudleys versus the Usos. I gave this 3 out of 5, which is my lowest of the night. That's average. It was great to see the Dudleys back at WrestleMania and in front of, you know, that crowd. It was a great atmosphere, but the match was too short. But it was a great atmosphere, and you know, it only lasted 5 minutes. So I gave it 3 out of 5. The next match, not in order, because I'm not doing all these matches in order. I've just listed matches and I'm just saying what I think of them after. Doesn't mean it actually happened in that order, but those last 3 did happen in that order. The next thing was the presentation for the WWE Women's Heavyweight Championship belt, which was again on the kickoff show, and that was one of my highlights of the night. I thought, you know, it was unexpected because I didn't expect them to do it. I thought it was going to do it probably on Raw or in a couple of weeks. So it's unexpected, and it's a fantastic belt. It's a fantastic look. It's a really good looking belt. No more of this diva shit. They're women wrestlers, and they are women wrestlers. None of this divas revolution. It's the women's wrestling revolution. That's what it should be called now. And that belt, it obviously looks very similar to the men's heavyweight title belt. Only it's, you know, it's got red background, as you know, because you've seen it. And I love the red. I love the red combination with the gold, and I think it's a beautiful belt. So that was a really great promo by Lita and segment. And then the main show started, and we had New Day versus the League of Nations, which I gave it 4 out of 5. I thought it had good wrestling, good action. It was a good, solid match, and it just added another bit of variety to the show, because you had many different types of matches at WrestleMania, and you know, each match complemented each other, and this is a unique match on the card, and it complemented the other matches, which complemented each other. But of course, the highlight of this match was actually what happened after this match. It was it's very similar to when Hogan, Rock, and Austin came out at WrestleMania 30, which is one of the great WrestleMania segments of all time. And it's very similar to when DX and the NWO came out last year, which again is one of the great WrestleMania segments of all time. And this again is one of the great WrestleMania segments of all time. First, Shawn Michaels comes out, and when it looks like he's going to wrestle, and I think one of the commentators says he's getting ready to wrestle, and that just sent shivers down my spine. And then Mick Foley came out. I thought it was going to be Shawn Michaels taking on all four. Then Mick Foley came out, and I thought I was really even more excited. And then Stone Cold came out, and the crowd is one of the biggest pops of the night as far as the crowd go, and that was a special like 10-minute, 8-minute segment, and again that was one of the greatest segments in WrestleMania history for me. That segment there after that match. So that was obviously one of my highlights. Next, there. What have I written down here? I've got a match list here. Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Again, it reminded me of the gimmick Battle Royal of WrestleMania 17, and I thought, again, I gave it 5 out of 5 plus. It was the most fun match of the night. Again, because it was the only match of its type, it complemented the other matches. It added some more variety to the card. There's some great surprises, some great standoffs, and a surprise winner, which is great to see a young NXT wrestler, one of my favourite NXT wrestlers, win it. I picked the Big Show to win it. Again, I thought he might go on a run like The Undertaker went on the streak. I thought Big Show might go on a streak of winning these every year, but he didn't. Baron Corbin won, which was great because of the surprise, and it's great to see Tatanka in the ring. It gave me a special feeling of watching WrestleMania 9, just seeing him in the ring, and DDP coming out was another one of the highlights of the night. That was a great surprise. Shaquille O'Neal coming out in a standoff with Big Show. You know, they threatened a feud a few years ago, which never happened. But when Shaquille O'Neal come out, he's a superstar, and he stood face to face. He's taller than the Big Show, and that standoff was just brilliant. And overall, that match, it was the most fun match of the night. It was just the most fun match of the night, and it added more variety to the whole card. I gave it 5 out of 5 plus. Now, the next match is a 7-man Intercontinental ladder match. I gave this 5 out of 5 plus plus. Now, when I give something 5 out of 5 plus, that means brilliant. When I give something 5 out of 5 plus plus, it means one of the best of all time. 2 pluses, that's what that means. This was one of my favourite ladder matches of all time. I think it was one of the greatest ladder matches of all time. It had brilliant drama, brilliant action, spectacular spots, and a really great pace. It was one of the great ladder matches, and for me, it had a WrestleMania moment winner. Zack Ryder winning that match for me is one of the great WrestleMania moments. You look through history, you look at the WrestleMania moments. Zack Ryder winning that is a great WrestleMania moment because it typifies what WrestleMania is, what a WrestleMania moment is. It's something that you didn't expect, that you didn't think was going to happen. It's about the underdog who you didn't think had a chance winning. Like Rey Mysterio winning at WrestleMania, and going into that match, looking at the 7 wrestlers, I had Zack Ryder as the 7th favourite to win it. He was the last favourite to win it out of the 7 for me, and for probably everybody else. And for me, Zack Ryder's been working really hard for 10 years. Anything he's achieved himself. He's worked so hard for 10 years. He's never really been taken seriously. He's been treated as a bit of a joke at times, and he's put so much effort in over 10 years. He's never broken through, and he's never had his moment. And after working so hard for 10 years, being held back or not quite breaking through, for him to win one of the great ladder matches and the IC title in front of over 100,000 people, that is his world championship. That is his career peak. That is his Royal Rumble win. That is his, like he said, the greatest moment of his life. That is a Rocky story. That is, it's a fairy tale. Him winning that was a fairy tale, and that for me is why that was a great WrestleMania moment. That for me goes down in history as one of the great WrestleMania moments. And it came at the end of what I thought was a brilliant ladder match. It had 6, 7, 8 very good to brilliant spots. The frog splash from Kevin Owens onto the ladder. Sin Cara falling on the outside of the ring and landing on the ladder snapping. I think Sami Zayn jumping underneath the ladder but over the ropes and doing a flip onto the outside and then running back in and doing the other move he done. I can't keep up all the really great moves in that match. So it was a brilliant ladder match, and it's topped off by one of the greatest, I think, one of the greatest fairy tales I think I've seen in wrestling. Zack Ryder, after 10 years of winning, actually achieving something, and I felt so happy for him. I'm not even a fan of his, but I'm a wrestling fan, and I really appreciate what he's been through, what he's done to get to that one moment, and that moment just completed his career. He can retire happy now. He will never achieve anything like that again, but it doesn't matter if he lost the belt the night after. The fact is, he had that magnificent moment, and that's his reward for 10 years, and that's a fairy tale, and that's why it was a WrestleMania moment for me. So that, along with the quality of the match, made it one of the great ladder matches for me. I gave it 5 out of 5 plus plus. The next match in my list is Charlotte versus Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. This is the second match of the night that I gave 5 out of 5 plus plus. That's the second match of the night to be one of the greatest I've ever seen. The last one was one of the greatest ladder matches I've ever seen. This match is one of the greatest women's matches I've ever seen, and because of that, it's up there with the greatest matches I've ever seen, man or female. Sorry, I've got to adjust something here. What can I say about this match? I've listened to like podcast after podcast the last few days, and on all of these podcasts, they're all saying that was the match that stole the show. You know, that was the match that stole the show. That topped all the other match, and there was loads of very good matches, and there's a bunch of brilliant matches. Um, I think that stole the show was the best match of the night. Loads of podcasts where I'm listening to, you know, Jim Ross, loads of people are saying that was the best match of the night, and that's saying something because the ladder match, you know, the Ambrose Brock match, Styles, Y2J, Hell in a Cell, you've got a bunch of brilliant matches there, and for this to be match of the night really says something when you consider the match, the card it was on, and the other matches that are on that card. I thought it started off with a blistering pace. It was blistering pace. It was some brilliant wrestling, brilliant drama, blistering pace at the start, like I say, really slick wrestling, some really great false finishes, you know, towards the end, the last third of the match, some really great false finishes. And it had some of the best moves of the night. I mean, when Sasha Banks when she dived out of the ring and like done the somersault, but landed on Charlotte on the outside, and you know, suicide dive, then done a flip, but then landed on Charlotte perfectly. To me, that was one of the moves of the night. But there's one move in this match that was better than that, and that is Charlotte going up to the turnbuckle and doing the backwards flip moonsault. Similar to what I think Shawn Michaels has done in the past. For me, that was the move of the night, the most spectacular, best move of the entire card. And this match had a lot of great moves, you know, and like I say, the wrestling was brilliant. It was slick. The wrestling was slick. The pace at times was blistering pace. The wrestling was smooth. Most of the match, the wrestling was smooth and slick. Some brilliant false finishes. We thought, oh, it's over, but no, it's not over. And I picked Sasha to win it, and I was wrong. So, like I say, I think they stole the show, and that was the best match of the night. I gave it 5 out of 5 plus because it's one of the greatest women's matches I've ever seen, and which makes it one of the best matches I've ever seen. As I was watching that match coming towards the end of it, I was thinking, the women's titles match at WrestleMania 33, how is that going to top this? What are they going to, who's going to wrestle who next year? How are they going to top this? And it is 16 minutes long, and like I say, it stole the show. But like I say, there's a bunch of matches that are brilliant on this card, and the next match I'll go on to is Y2J versus AJ Styles. It's 17 minutes long, and I give this 5 out of 5 plus, which means it's brilliant. 5 out of 5 plus. Had very good wrestling, very good drama, some great spots, and I think a surprise winner because I thought AJ was going to win, and I picked him to win. They've had a bunch of great matches now, and I think this is another great one. I think it could have been given more time because going into this event, I thought this was the match that would steal the show. But it didn't quite do that. But I think if they give it a bit more time, I might have given it a 5 out of 5 plus, which I was suspecting maybe doing. But it just fell short of that. But nevertheless, it's 5 out of 5 plus, which means it was a brilliant match. And what else? What more can you want after all the other brilliant matches? The next match Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. I gave this 5 out of 5 plus. Again, it's another brilliant match. Brilliant match after brilliant match after brilliant match. It's 13 minutes long, could have been longer. I can understand why they held back on this because they wanted to not take away from the Hell in a Cell. So they pulled back a little bit with this one. But it still, for me, was right up my street. I love this type of match. I just loved it. And again, it added to the variety of the card. Again, you have lots of different types of matches on this card, and this added to the variety of the whole card, which to me adds to the overall rating of the card and the event. I thought it is physical, it is intense, great use of the gimmicks. It could have been longer, but it was right up my street, and I loved it. I loved it. Next match, Undertaker versus Shane McMahon. 5 out of 5 plus plus. That is the third match of the night to have a 5 out of 5 plus plus. And it's the fourth segment of the night to have 5 out of 5 plus plus, because Austin, HBK and Mick Foley, that segment was 5 out of 5 plus plus, one of the all-time great WrestleMania segments. So that's 4 of the all-time great WrestleMania segments. 3 of them matches and 1 of them not a match. Back to this match, I thought it's physical, it's intense, great use of gimmicks. Again, it could have been it could have been longer. What I'm talking about is half. I just looked at how long it lasted. It was half an hour long. I'm getting mixed up with the last match. It's half an hour. I thought it was possibly the highest stakes match in WWE history. Undertaker's WrestleMania career against effectively control of the company. You know, it's the streak was back again. Because the Undertaker gets beat, it's the streak feeling. A brilliant drama, brilliant physicality, great pace, and one of the all-time great stunts. You know, Shane McMahon. I mean, when Mick Foley come off the cage, it wasn't as high as what it was for this match. The Hell in a Cell is quite a bit taller now. And Mick Foley looked more spectacular than it was, but this wasn't far off. And the height, I mean, when Shane McMahon went up there, I covered my face. I found it hard to look. I found it hard to watch. I was full of nerves because if something goes wrong, he's seriously ill, seriously injured or worse. I was really, really nervous. But when he pulled it off, it was one of the most spectacular spots I've ever seen, and it was just spectacular. And for me, mainly because of that one spot, but overall because of the stakes and because of that spot, and you know, I had to give it a 5 out of 5 plus plus, which means it's one of the best Hell in a Cells that I've ever seen, and you know, one of the all-time great stunts, and just the physicality and pace and drama. 5 out of 5 plus plus. Right, one more match, Triple H versus Roman Reigns. I gave it 5.5, which means it's very good or slightly brilliant. If it's brilliant, then it's slightly brilliant. If it's not, then it's really, really very good. 5 out of 5.5, which is not quite 5 out of 5 plus, but it's still very good, slightly brilliant. It was a really long match. I loved the spot near the end where Roman speared Stephanie. She had a lot of guts taken that, and I loved the introduction. Triple H, like last year with the Terminator theme when Triple H came to the ring. That was one of the best entrances ever. This year it was one of the best entrances ever as well. that speech by Stephanie McMahon was just, it's just pure theatre. It's just a spectacular performance from her, that speech. And she just pulled it off so well. She's just in a different league when it comes to getting heat. I mean, you just watch Shane McMahon on the microphone, and then you watch Stephanie. Stephanie's in a completely different league. I know when Shane come back, we talked about this. He had an amazing reaction when he came back. But what did I tell you? I said it's because he's been away for 7 years. If Stephanie was away for 7 years and come back, she would get that reaction as well, or bigger. But how you really judge how over somebody is week to week, okay? Week to week, I don't know if you've noticed the last few weeks, but Shane McMahon's reaction from the crowd hasn't actually been that great. That first week it was a massive surprise, the crowd went wild. But after that, week to week, his response from the crowd has been fairly average. And he's only just come back. Stephanie has been constantly on TV for years. And she not constantly, but almost every week she comes out, she gets a lot of heat from the crowd. And nobody draws heat or gets a reaction week to week like Stephanie does. And she's in a different league to Shane. You know, I mean, Shane's in a different... Stephanie's a good wrestler. Stephanie's a pretty good wrestler. But Shane's better in the ring. You know, Shane's definitely better in the ring. But Stephanie is, she's got better charisma. And she gets a better reaction from the fans. Because she gets a bigger reaction from the fans than what Shane does week to week. And she is more over than Shane, and she is the biggest heel in the company, and she doesn't even wrestle. You know, she's the biggest heel in the company, and she doesn't even wrestle. And after being constantly on TV for years, she's still capable of getting a really big, heated response. And Shane hasn't the last few weeks. The response has been average, besides the first week. My phone is going. Anyway, not taking it away from Shane, he's better than Stephanie in the ring. And like I say, that was one of my favourite ever Hell in a Cell matches. I gave it 5 out of 5++. But anyway, I'd moved on to Triple H versus Roman. Spectacular entrance. And the match itself, for me, could have been better. I think what added to this match was the fact of how much Roman was being booed. For me, I found that entertaining. I found it entertaining because the fans were letting people in charge know, you know, once again, that they're not going to get behind this guy as a face. And 100,000 people, they just made an emphatic point. And I loved that. But the match itself was really good. I think Roman Reigns wrestled really well, and there's some really great spots in this match. Like I say, one of the most spectacular ones was the spear on Stephanie. We all know Roman was going to win. It was the one result I got right. Again, I thought it was a 5.5. Very, very good match. Maybe slightly brilliant. So there you go. That's what I thought of the whole WrestleMania card. You know, I go through the matches. I mean, 5.5, 5++, which means all-time classic. 5+, 5+, 5++, 5++, 5+, 4, 3, 5.5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 5++. And the Hall of Fame segment, the Rock segment, I haven't even rated that segment. Oh my god, The Rock coming out with an amazing promo. It was really, really funny. Wyatt's come out, you didn't know what to expect, and then John Cena come out, and it was a great WrestleMania moment seeing The Rock and John Cena in the ring at the same time. They had two classic feuds, two great WrestleMania matches at WrestleMania 28 and 29, and to see them back just brought memories and emotions back from their two matches and two feuds from a few years ago. Seeing them in the ring at the same time, it was special, and it was a WrestleMania moment. So add to all the ratings I've just gone down again, that was 5 out of 5 plus. So as you can see, I mean, I rate it as an absolutely brilliant event, 10 out of 10 plus overall. One of the very best WrestleManias of all time, and that's what I thought of WrestleMania 32. Let me know what you think of WrestleMania 32. Probably speak on the phone soon. So that's what I thought WrestleMania 32. For me, match of the night was the World Heavyweight Championship, women's. I thought moment of the night. I don't know if I could pick a moment of the night. I mean, the Shane spot was a pretty impressive moment of the night. It'd be hard to top that. Maybe Zack Ryder, after 10 years, that fairy tale coming true. That might have been the moment of the night. There's dozens and dozens of moves of the night, loads of them in the ladder match. But anyway, that's what I thought of WrestleMania 32. I'll speak to you soon. Right, bye.